In Hawaii, 10% of the produce that we eat is grown locally, and currently we bring in 90% of our food from outside the state. That's what food hubs are now doing. They're connecting the dots, and then something new that we're discovering along the way is that there's much more food growing here than we thought. We're just utilizing it instead of letting it go to waste.
This last year, it became really apparent to us during COVID, if we got cut off, what it would be like to be on this island and not have access to food. We became really aware how important our local farmers were.
When COVID hit, our food supply chains were interrupted, but the farmers here in Hawaii were ready to step in. Aloha, I'm Maureen and Datta, and I run Adaptations Food Hub and Organic Farm in Honaunau. What our food hub provides is an alternative to the mainstream conventional agriculture system. By providing infrastructure, farmers, they can come and just drop off their product with a one-stop drop and not have to spend time away from the farm, which is really their heart and soul and what they want to be doing with their lives. We started with Adaptations Farm, and then the food hub grew out of necessity for getting those products to market. In order to help pay for that infrastructure, we started to hui with other farms. We tried to have more than one grower for each crop so that we could have a consistent supply, because a lot of the original pushback was that local growers were inconsistent, and it made a huge difference in just building our reputation over time that we were able to come through with what we promised. Farming is really a risky business. There's a lot that can go wrong between seed and harvest. So anything that we can do to mitigate that risk and help support the farmer and their mission is part of our mission.
Probably the best thing for farmers is that they can sell us large quantities, and that makes it easier for them. They don't have to go and look for customers. We do all the legwork, talking to the chefs, finding out what they need, and then we go specifically to different farmers and say we need this much of this and this much of this, and the farmer just gets our call instead of 20 calls. We place an order with the farmer delivers to us, and then we take the time to portion it out and ship it out and deliver it to all those different locations.
We're helping with crop selection, seed sourcing, pest management, disease management. We can advise on seasonality. That helps give them a little leg up so they know what to expect in their climate zone with that crop. We're providing consistency to the grower. They know what to expect. They know there's going to be a minimum demand for their crops. They know they're going to get paid twice a month without fail. They're able to move forward with confidence to plant more because they know a set amount is already spoken for. One of the things I've found for growers is a concern for maintaining their market share. If they're going directly to a customer and then they have a tragedy of rain or other natural event or something else disrupts their production cycle, they might lose that shelf space. By having a food hub that they work with, the food hub can source from a couple of other growers to maintain that shelf space so that when they do get back online, it's still there for them.
I'd completely recommend any farmers working with food hubs. It's a win-win on both sides. Being connected with the food hub allows me to focus much more on growing the crops. I don't have to scramble around looking for as many customers because I can send a lot of my product right to them. They have a lot of really consistent customers with consistent demand, and so I know that a good chunk of my crop is going to be bought and I don't have to worry about where it's going to go.
We bring in at least a pallet a week from Adaptations, whatever they have in stock. We always love the heirloom tomatoes. We get a lot of citrus. That's really the beauty of these hubs that are working together is that, now not only do we have access to the farmers that we support, but we also have access to all of the farmers that those hubs support. My name is Christian Zuckerman. I'm the farm manager and director of social ventures at Kahumana. As far as the food hub, we have a couple different aspects within it. We have a very vibrant CSA program. We have about 400 members that we serve weekly. We have the farm hub, which is the aggregating arm of the hub. So we work with 100 farmers here in Oahu. We bring in produce from Kauai, Maui, Big Island. A lot of the B-grade produce that we normally couldn't sell, but we don't want to go to waste. We actually pay the farmer for that so that we can take that, capture it, and make it into a new product.
My name is Saleh Azizi. I work as the Community Development Coordinator at Kahumana, and I was hired about 4 years ago to start our food hub. The way the food hub came about was that we actually, as an organic farm, were pretty successful in marketing our produce. So we had over 40 to 50 various wholesale accounts set up with restaurants and stores. The question came naturally from some of our surrounding farmers was, can I utilize your marketing channels to sell my lemons, for example?
We wanted to provide an economic stimulus to our community in the form of money to those backyard growers, those small farmers who need it the most, but also to make us less reliant on food being imported to Hawaii. For every pound that we aggregate from local farmers or from backyard growers here in Waianae, that's one less pound of food that needs to come from the mainland.
In the first year, our ohana growers out here with Kahumana Food Hub produced about 100,000 pounds that we helped move to the marketplace. When we interviewed people, it turned out that a lot of this was going to waste in people's backyards. So a lot of it wasn't making it to the market, close to 90% of that. So it's really saving a lot of waste from happening, but also creating income for people that need a source of income. The first year, close to $100,000 went directly back to the community. And it's really about the community. It was about meeting the community where it's at. The food was growing, partly because people believed in growing food, because their culture and history promoted them to grow food. And that's why it's kind of a beautiful thing, I think. Then when COVID happened, we went from maybe 100 farmers to 200 farmers. So now we move about 700,000 pounds of produce per year. Twice a week, our food hub is open. It's open for receiving. Any food producer from around the island can come and see us, can talk story with us, talk about where they have their land, where they grow their food, what they expect to have in harvest so we can help them sell that. The purpose of it was to create very low barriers to entry. Anyone is welcome.
Whether you're a farmer who's growing like in the back of your yard, a small little plot, versus like a medium scale farmer or a large scale farmer, I think having access to a food hub in any of those scenarios is going to be beneficial. Say like a small backyard grower, you're not going to have the infrastructure, you're not going to have the connections, you're not going to have the facilities, the storage, any of these things in place, but a food hub can provide that for you. A lot of medium scale farmers, they're sort of caught in this catch-22, right? They're not big enough to invest all this into, infrastructure. They're big enough at the same time where they need to like get more out there. So, sort of like I said, catch-22 is like, okay, I need to invest in infrastructure, don't have the money to, but need to. And so that's why the food hub can come in, provide that for them. It's like, hey, we have it, we'll give you a good price. We understand, especially like our food hub, we have a farm also, so we understand the trials and tribulations that it is to be a farmer.
The growers that participate with us, they receive basically 70 cents out of every dollar that we make. In conventional food systems, the growers receive about 10 cents out of every dollar that someone spends in the grocery store. So we want to completely change that. We want to turn around the pyramid so that the farmers can really benefit.
I've been working with Kahumana and the food hub for, I think now about 3 years. I'm a one-man farmer. When it comes to marketing all these different items, that's like trying to start another business. Farming is just one part of the whole aspect. Taking that vegetable and creating money out of it takes a whole nother talent. And if you have to do both, that takes a lot of time out of farming. And most farmers nowadays, that's what they're faced with. Yeah. What Kahumana provides for me is a market, and a market that I can deal with at a fair price.
So in the second year of running the food hub at Kahumana, One of the things that I did in my role was to create a focus group among the food hubs where we came together and talked about our common needs and how we can achieve our goals for our farmers and for Hawaii's food system. We continue to run that group today. We call ourselves the Hawaii Food Hub Hui, and we have about 15 food hub members in the Hui. What naturally happened is some people started training with one another. We started exchanging customers, exchanging suppliers. We started buying from one another. And that was really our big vehicle when COVID hit. It was all of those connections that we had made in the Food Hub Hui that empowered us to create an inter-island network of food hubs that responded to the pandemic.
COVID gave us a moment to shine in a way. It was a proof of concept. It really showed how resilient our local food system is. The Hui itself, getting together, is a force that is going to move us into the future and provide food security for Hawaii.
Sort of the silver lining of the pandemic is that it's really made people think about where their food comes from. People have realized the value of supporting farmers, not just in the sense of the whole circular economy question, but just that, first off, it just tastes better. It feels good to support your farmer. And I know for us, it's felt a lot better to be able to serve our community, whether it's through CSA, food distributions, farmers markets, than a lot of our clientele from the past, because we used to primarily send to high-end restaurants, hotels, and we sort of moved into this more direct-to-consumer model.
There's great support that you can provide for food hubs. Number one is really awareness about what food hubs are and what they're doing. Awareness from the producers so they know they have food hubs in their community, but also other people like the state of Hawaii, like the Department of Education, awareness that we exist, awareness about what we're trying to build. Once you have some awareness, it would be beautiful if people actually invested in the food hubs. So far, most of the food hubs have made it to where they are without significant outside investment. For the food hubs to grow, we need roughly $30 million. If people want to help us raise that money and help us strengthen the food hubs in Hawaii.